Most films tell you a story. They explain. They guide. They move forward without asking permission. This one does something different. It asks you to slow down, not to understand, not to analyze, but to notice. She doesn't speak. She doesn't look at the camera. She doesn't ask to be seen. She simply walks. And as she moves, something unusual begins to happen. Light doesn't just illuminate the scene. It hesitates. It drifts. It settles gently, as if it were remembering where it belongs. Nothing dramatic occurs. No event announces itself, yet something shifts. This is not a painting. It's not a story with a beginning or an end. It's a moment learning how to breathe. A moment where time loosens its grip, where silence becomes meaningful, where stillness is not empty, but alive, before anything truly happens, before you know where she's going. The film asks only one thing of you. Stay just long enough to feel what usually passes unnoticed. Asterisk. A woman moves through a garden that feels endless, not because it is vast, not because it stretches beyond sight, but because time behaves differently here. Each step she takes seems unhurried, as if the ground itself is in no rush to be crossed, as if the air is holding its breath. Nothing pushes her forward. Nothing pulls her back. There is no destination demanding arrival, no moment waiting to be reached. The garden does not surround her like a place meant to contain. It opens. It listens. It receives her the way memory receives a thought, gently, without interruption. Leaves sway, not to be noticed, but because movement is natural here. Light rests briefly on her dress, then drifts away, unconcerned with being seen. This is not a space designed for action. It is a space designed for presence. And as she walks deeper inside, the garden does not change around her. She changes within it. Asterisk. In this world, light is not decoration. It is alive. It moves with intention. Not to illuminate objects, but to touch them. It flickers across leaves, sliding along their edges, breaking apart as it passes through branches. It rests briefly on fabric, warming it, softening its color, then disappears, as if it had something else to remember. Light here behaves like a presence. Not constant, not reliable. It appears. It hesitates. It leaves. And in that movement, meaning is created. This is the language of Impressionism. Light not as a fact to be measured, but as a sensation to be felt. Not something that reveals the world, but something that reshapes it moment by moment. What you see is not the object itself, but the light passing over it, changing it, and changing you as you watch. Asterisk. There is no beginning here. No clear ending. Time does not move forward in a straight line. It stretches. It folds back on itself. It dissolves. Moments do not replace one another. They overlap, like brushstrokes laid gently on top of previous ones, never fully covering what came before. Past and present exist at the same time. A step taken now carries the echo of steps taken before. Light changes, but it does not signal progression. It signals presence. You are not watching events unfold. There is no sequence to follow, no story to keep up with. You are watching memory being formed, not recalled, not replayed. Created in real time. This is how time feels when it is no longer measured by clocks, but by attention. By breath, by stillness. By the quiet realization that nothing here needs to hurry. Asterisk. She is not a character to be explained. She is not here to perform, to impress, or to be understood. She is a presence. Her movement is slow, almost careful, as if she knows the moment itself is fragile, as if moving too fast might break it. She does not dominate the space. She does not reshape it. She moves with it. Each step feels like a quiet conversation between her body and the garden around her. She listens more than she acts. She observes more than she changes. In this way, she becomes part of the landscape, not separate from it, not above it, but gently woven into its rhythm. She is not the subject of the scene. She is its quiet pulse. Asterisk, asterisk. Nothing here is sharply defined. Edges soften. Forms dissolve. Colors bleed gently into one another, because the goal is not precision. It is sensation. This world does not ask you to recognize objects. It asks you to recognize feelings. The garden is not described. It is suggested. Light does not outline shapes. It drifts across them. Details are allowed to fade, so emotion can take their place. This is not how the garden looks when you stand inside it. This is how the garden feels when you remember it later. Not as facts, not as images, but as impressions that linger long after the moment has passed. Asterisk, asterisk. Our minds don't remember clearly. They remember emotionally. We don't recall exact shapes, or precise colors, or perfect compositions. We remember fragments, a glow of light, a sense of warmth, a feeling that something mattered. This film mirrors that truth. Shapes begin to fade, not because they are unimportant, but because memory does not need clarity to survive. Light lingers longer than form. Atmosphere lasts longer than detail. What you are seeing is not reality as it once existed. It is reality as it returns to us through time, distorted, soft, filtered by feeling. This is perception drifting not forward, not backward, but gently, endlessly through memory itself. Asterisk, asterisk. Inspired by the spirit of Claude Monet. This visual poem does not recreate a painting. It does not imitate a canvas. It does not quote a masterpiece. Instead, it enters into a dialogue. Monet once asked a quiet but radical question. How do you capture something that never stays still? Light changes. Color shifts. The moment disappears the instant you tried to hold it. The answer was never accuracy. It was atmosphere. Impressionism was not about showing the world as it is, but as it passes. As it trembles, as it breathes, as it slips away. This film follows that same philosophy. It does not freeze time. It lets time move through the image. What remains is not a picture, but a sensation. And that sensation is where art begins. Asterisk. You may not recognize this place, but you recognize the feeling. It feels like something you once lived, but never fully named. A memory without a date. A moment without a story. A sensation that arrives before words. You've been here before, not in location, but in emotion. Maybe it reminds you of a summer afternoon, or a quiet walk you didn't want to end, or a moment when time slowed without asking permission. That's why this garden feels real, not because it exists on a map, but because it exists where memory and light overlap. Where moments don't need explanation to be meaningful. This is the place where art becomes personal, not something you watch, but something you remember as if it were your own. Asterisk, asterisk. Some art is meant to impress. Some art is meant to be understood, and some art simply invites you to feel without explaining why. This visual poem does not ask for attention. It asks for presence. It asks you to slow down, to notice light, to notice silence, to notice yourself. If this film stayed with you longer than you expected, if it made you breathe a little deeper, or remember something you can't quite name, share that feeling in the comments, and explore more cinematic visual poems here on the Viz channel. And just to be clear, the intention of this channel is to honor and value the legacy of great artists. Not to replicate their work, not to claim their genius. We don't borrow their vision. We reflect on it, because understanding art and allowing it to move us is one of the purest forms of respect.